Welcome to this week's edition of our Digital Citizenship. We're going to be focusing on digital well-being. I'm Nicole.
I'm Joel.
And we're going to start off with that basic question. What is digital well-being, Joel?
Well, that's a great question, Nicole. What is digital well-being? Well, well-being, we think about being healthy.
Mm-hmm.
We think about feeling happy. So I would say digital well-being is feeling healthy and happy digitally.
While we're using technology.
While we're using
digital devices.
Yes.
And so it's feeling good about how we use our screens. So not just being passive consumers of it, but maybe using it for, structured reasons and purposes, right? So maybe some creation. Maybe we're learning about something new. But there's also balance between using a screen and accessing books, going out into talking to experts, any of those kind of ideas. And so it's about balance, but not quitting screens. Because we know that in today's world, a lot of our learning comes from screens. And so there's a screen time challenge. I want you just to all think, how much time do you actually think you spend on screens? I know for Joel and I, on our devices, on our phones, we can actually check that out. It will actually tell us how much we are on our phones if we go onto our device. It does track that. It tells us what apps we're in, the amount of time we're spending in them, and all of that. And so it would be interesting if you all, just over a week, kind of maybe did a little tally of when you're on. Maybe keep a journal of when you're on a device, what you're doing on that device, how long you're on that device for, and just kind of see how much time that adds up to.
Yeah. How much, what if you had to estimate, Nicole, what do you think your daily screen time, including work?
So, including work, that's really big because, we are technology consultants, and so that is a lot of our job. So most of my workday is spent on a screen, except for when I get to go out and see all of you in your schools. And so that is a lot. But in the evenings, I find that I do disconnect from screens. I might do a little bit of social media kind of scrolling, but not for that long. Or at least not that I think, until I go and I check my device.
Yeah, fair enough.
And so with that, there is that 20/20 rule. Joel, you want to tell us about the 20/20 rule to help build those digital habits?
So you can see, we have these, we've talked about in the past, that idea of when we're on a screen, sometime time, it feels like it's been 10 minutes, but it's really been an hour, right? We're watching those videos or we're playing that video game. So the 20/20/20 rule is about setting a 20-minute timer. And after those 20 minutes, you take 20 seconds and you look at something that is 20 feet away. So our eyes are focused in on that screen. After 20 minutes, we need to kind of let those eye muscles relax, let those, kind of let our brain just relax maybe, and have that break, right? So that's that 20/20/20 rule.
And so, that's going to apply when you still have to be on a screen or on a digital device. So maybe you are in school
We're at work.
and you're working on, a project that you're really excited about, and you've been given an hour and some to work on it. Well, that's 3 sets of 20 minutes, right? And so just taking those breaks, looking that 20 feet away for 20 seconds, and then refocusing back on your task. It's just really good for refocusing too, I think. But of course, if it's not something you have to be on, then you can just walk away and go move around. Go and, do some stretching, go for a walk, go outside and play, do a pickup game of soccer with your friends. And then, of course, just also kind of another piece to healthy digital habits are those screen-free zones.
Huge.
Joel, what might those be?
Bedrooms.
Yeah.
Probably number one, kitchen table maybe as well.
Absolutely.
But I think you can really have those conversations, even like obviously our classrooms are screen-free, personal devices screen-free, but maybe there's some areas in the classroom that don't even have screens, right? Like maybe you have a reading corner where, there's no screens allowed in that space, or even within the school could be a fun idea. But having those designated screen-free zones really helps to bake in that idea that screens are not necessary for all things all the time.
Right, and I think that's really important at home. I think that the kitchen table is a really great one because, that's a really great chance for you to tell your parents about your day and what you learned at school, the successes you had, the fun you had, and all of that. So that helps to build those relationships also. And so just kind of that idea too, Joel, of like mindfulness. And so I know that's kind of a big thing, but sometimes having that like 1 minute digital detox, that's kind of what they call it, where you just sit and you close your eyes, you breathe deeply, taking big deep breaths in, big deep breaths out for a minute, and you just listen to everything else around you, and you take in all the other sounds that are not digital sounds, just like that.
Yet?
And so, so that is something that is really important, and it's not even just for digital things. Sometimes it's just really great to take that moment in your day.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're outside playing at the playground, maybe just sit on the swing, sit on that swing, and just close your eyes and listen to everything around you. And so, a little bit of a scenario discussion. Joel, we were talking about gaming earlier. Here's a little guy, Liam. He is playing video games for hours and hours before bed. How can he balance? So you can all hit pause, maybe do some brainstorming with your group, maybe as a whole class, hit pause and talk about what he could do. Maybe talk about some of the experiences you might even have had with being on digital devices for a very long time. And then when you're done, come back to our video. So Joel, how do you think he could balance?
Well, he could probably balance on one foot. Thank you. But really, he can balance by, it sounds like balancing is going to be hard for him, right? To go, right? Hours and hours of video games is really going to put us in an excited state. Not really a good kind of state to go to bed in, right? You want to be relaxed. You want to be, you want your mind to be settled. You want to be comfortable in your bed. You want to be like sleepy feeling. And I would definitely say beyond like becoming exhausted, Liam's not really getting ready for bed by playing video games. So he's got to, dial it back.
Absolutely. So maybe he could read a book instead, right? Maybe that's a really great different choice that could be made, especially like that hour before bed. That hour before bed is really important for winding down. So turning off your brain, relaxing, getting it into that state where you can fall asleep easily and you can get a really great night rest. So maybe reading a book, the whole like brushing your teeth, maybe have a hot bath or shower, just kind of like winding down, maybe even just sitting and spending time together as a family.
Yeah, or like saying some prayers, right? Before
absolutely.
you go to bed, your bedtime prayers, kind of build that routine to settle and calm your body.
Absolutely.
And that makes a big difference.
And so I don't know if, having all the friends over either for hours and hours.
True.
Right? If we're talking a few hours before bedtime, maybe they could be outside and maybe go play some soccer.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying. They can do some gaming, but then they can also do some outdoor
Outside
gaming.
Stuff, for sure.
Kind of fun. Also just that idea of like unplugging and recharging. And so these 4 pictures are really great for just showing how you can go outside. We have a beautiful, lots of green spaces in Edmonton where you can go and just go for a walk, talk with your friends, connect.
Throw a frisbee,
throw a baseball around. Maybe go and explore some nature, do some nature sketching, anything like that. So find a hobby that doesn't require Wi-Fi. Joel, do you have one?
I do.
What is it?
Well, I have a couple.
Okay.
One of them is playing the guitar.
Oh,
I enjoy playing the guitar. It helps me, again, feel those feelings that I'm having, sing some silly songs, that kind of stuff. It really does help me just decompress, settle myself, and just have some fun.
That's very cool. I like that.
What about you?
I really do like to just go for walks outside with my dogs. We live out on an acreage and we have a big field, and I love to just go out in the field and listen to the birds. Not necessarily the cars drive by, but I love to just like listen to the birds, my dogs run around, the excitement that they have, and just breathe some fresh air.
Totally.
And so just kind of putting a little bit of a challenge out to all of you. Um, here's our screen-free challenge. We want you to try to reduce your screen time for one day. What can you do instead? So think about it before you do it so that you kind of have some plans, because if you don't plan, you likely won't do it for very long. So try to reduce that screen time for one day. Maybe think about going outside, playing outside. So maybe don't choose a rainy day, FYI. Read a book, draw, color, maybe have some friends over and play some board games. What else could they do?
Make bracelets.
Make bracelets.
What else? Build Lego.
Maybe do some baking.
Yeah, go out, dig a hole outside. My children dug a giant hole.
What exactly are these holes for?
There's a variety of they are great to cook in. Apparently, my children cook in the hole. They pretend it's like a large job site. They just use the dirt from the hole to fill pots.
So I am going to recommend that maybe talk to your parents before you go into the yard and dig a hole.
Fair enough.
So obviously Joel's got a space where they can dig the hole. So because that could be a safety hazard.
It is.
As well.
Oh no, it's not a good. It's not fun. But you know, it's.
Maybe
what
before
else
the
are you gonna do?
Maybe before the garden is in place, maybe you could go into the garden dirt and dig a hole there and have those playtimes. And so with that, just plan something. Plan a few different things because we know that you like to do lots of things. So plan a bunch of things so that you are screen free for a day. And then I know, Joel, you did talk about this a little bit earlier, but setting that bedtime alarm for screens, so at least an hour before. If you do have a device, if your parents have purchased you one, making sure that you turn on that do not disturb mode, that's going to be really important
100%.
as well. And then, of course, just to kind of wrap this one up, just thinking of maybe like a classroom project. Maybe it would be really cool to have a hobby showcase, right? Where you can actually just like build a presentation in whatever way that you might want. Maybe I would do maybe like a dramatization, or bring your favorite object, or bring your guitar, play a song, and share a hobby that you really love to do without screens. So I would also encourage you to not do your presentation with a screen.
Just
saying.
Just in real life.
Yeah, and so soccer balls. Maybe ask your teacher if you can get all the soccer balls out and take everybody outside and show them the moves that you like to practice on the side before your soccer games at home as part of your like extra hobbies.
Yeah.
And so with that, a hobby showcase might be really fun in your class, especially towards the end of this year as we are starting to near that point. And so teachers, just a couple of additional resources for you. For the grade 4s, there's one called My Media Choices, and this one by Common Sense Media, it gives students a bit of a framework to make really informed choices about their screen time and the devices that they're choosing to use and when. Grade 5 is finding that media balance. So this lesson helps them make responsible choices in the real world, and so kind of creating a bit of a personalized media plan. And so that can be a really great extension off of this as well. And then grade 6 is finding balance in a digital world, where for today, it's acknowledging that life is more than just screen time. And so this lesson helps students recognize just how much media they're actually doing and what they can do to help balance that. And so with that, we are going to just say thank you for joining us, and we look forward to hearing about your hobby showcase. And we will see you next month.
See ya.
Bye.